this whole thing with AI has really got me thinking a lot in terms of what's going to happen with us here. And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I have the answer, because something that I'm also very cautious of is looking at how knee-jerk this world has become. And I'm going to give you a couple examples that might resonate with you. Clubhouse. Who remembers Clubhouse? That stupid ass app that everyone thought was going to be the next big thing. You dive all in on that, and what happens? It's gone, right? That's one example. Not that crypto or Web3 was another one of those things in NFTs, but like you just see what happens with human attention at scale on the internet now. Things bubble up very, very quickly and then they burst, right? So I'm not going to do the same thing with AI. I'm not going to sit here like people did with NFTs and said that like a picture was going to be the next best investment, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not saying that it was stupid. I'm just saying human nature inherently tends to bubble things up, especially when there's money to be made, there's opportunity, there's massive change, right? So that's the first thing with AI, right? Is that what I don't want to have happen, because we've been talking about a lot, is people like, oh my God, we're all screwed. You know, AI is coming. We're all destroyed. I don't believe that to be the case. I do think that over this next year, though, we are going to see the first wave of adoption of this technology. So we look at something like ChatGPT, for example. ChatGPT on its own, it's a great novelty, but like it's not going to revolutionize the way that you do business or anyone does business right now, because it's not connected to the internet. So the information that you get from it is not going to be overly impactful or helpful. It can definitely help if you're doing like a support job or like a content writing job. It can definitely help to speed that up, no doubt. I was actually using it the other day to help me out to write some social media posts. It's all right, but like it saved me some time. I was writing like YouTube like descriptions with it and it was pretty good. But the first wave of adoption that I do see with AI is using that technology on top of something else. So I saw on Twitter yesterday a really, really good example where somebody, because OpenAI it's not integrated with anything that we use on a daily basis, but you can integrate it into something else, not like hardware per se, but like software. So like, for example, this kid built basically took ChatGPT and integrated it into Gmail, right? So now he has an email writing assistant, and it was very slick when he was using it for. So I think the first wave of adoption over the next 12 months is going to be taking this technology that doesn't need to be hyper relevant, hyper new information, because it's not connected to the internet. And I think that's a whole nother problem that they're going to have to solve. Essentially what Google's already doing, which is like, how do we serve information that people are going to use and trust? Because Google's been through that before. They go through it every single day, essentially beating back SEOs in terms of misinformation, in terms of ranking site that should be ranked. This AI technology is going to have that whole thing there, validating what's real and what's correct. But the point I'm trying to make is that over this next 12 months, I think we're going to see the adoption of this technology into things that we're already using, putting it into Sheets to do keyword research faster, automated, putting it into Google Docs to do a content outline already. And I know there's companies that do this, but I've tested them all and they're just whatever, to be honest with you, right? So I do think that the first iteration that we're going to see from this, the first adoption, is going to be taking ChatGPT as we see it and making it more useful. And then I don't know what the time frame was, and that could be 2 months, that could be 12 months, it could be 24 months, right? So time frames, I have no answer for you. But then after that, I think that the next wave too is going to be when these AIs are really starting to connect with hyper relevant information. I do think that it's going to take a massive chunk out of Google's market share. And I know Google's it definitely has its own solution for this, right? But I do think that once this type of AI, and Apple I'm sure does too, like once this type of AI is in our hardware, right? Like once you don't have to go to a website on desktop to use it, and it's just on your phone and you can just talk to it, that's when I think it's really going to take a massive chunk out of Google. Right? Because a lot of the things, and I don't mean in a bad way too, because I look at it this way, right? Is that a lot of things that we search Google for now, we don't need to search Google for. And everyone here knows at least 10 searches that they search Google for, and they're like, what the F is this, Google? Just give me the freaking answer. You know, like search recipes is a great example. It is the worst experience. Search for weather, search for what channel the Patriots game is on this weekend. That's another one that drives me crazy. You just get riddled with websites that have ads. It just doesn't give the answer, right? Those types of searches, I think that AI is going to take a chunk out of that. Us as SEO professionals, it's not that big of a deal, because those types of things aren't really, again, going back to who, not what, right? We are here to do what? We're here to make our clients more money. We're here to make our clients get more clients. We're here to help them get more customers. So those types of searches, taking a market share from Google, isn't that big of a deal, right? What we are more concerned about is those bottom funnel commercial searches, right? And I think what it's going to do, it's going to force it's going to shrink the SEO industry, because the SEO industry is bloated, because so much of what we do for SEO is like, yeah, just create some content around it, right? Because we're focused on traffic. We're focused on making that chart go up and to the right. And as long as we do that, then we kind of did our jobs in a sense, right? But really what it's going to refocus on is, again, why we're really here as marketers. We are here to make people money. And somewhere along the line, when it came to SEO, it got bloated, it got cute, I don't know what the word is, but like, it wasn't about that anymore. It was about fighting with each other on Twitter about whether or not a no index tag is better than a canonical tag. Like AI also, when we talk about the SEO tools and software industry, like AI is going to just take over technical SEO, all that type of stuff. It's going to take over content. We don't know what's going to happen. But the core here is, again, is that the SEO SEO process might change, the way people use Google might change, but the core of what we need to focus on is our clients and what they need to help them stay afloat in business, period. Whether that's going to be using Google, whether that's going to be using whatever hardware people are searching for, right? If you think about the definition of SEO, it stands for search engine optimization, right? So any type of search engine, Google's just is a monopoly, right? It just runs the market. So we automatically think about Google, oh, Google this, Google that. But in reality, we could be focused on Amazon search. We could be focused on YouTube search. There's all sorts of different search engines, right? And I do think that AI search is going to be a whole different thing that we have to play with. And AI is going to have the same problems that Google has in terms of serving information, right? If you think about it this way, if you go to ChatGPT right now and you type in like, I need recommendations for sneakers for New Year's, it doesn't really know what to do. First of all, because it's not connected to the internet. But second of all, it's like, it doesn't know your preferences. It knows your style. Over time, I think we'll learn that. But still, even with preferences, even with style, it's still going to have to serve information. And how do we get our clients' information there? How do we get our clients' information as the preference for clients? Well, branding, content, information, getting our product in front of people, right? Same thing that we're doing now, right? So it's the other big thing here too, and this is what I was thinking about today in the shower, is that as long as humans are buying stuff, that's who we're selling to. We get stuck in like, and this is my big gripe with SEO, is that like SEO is so disconnected from actual marketing now. We're so focused on like Google and not focused on what people are doing and what people are, because we're ultimately selling to people, right? So as long as people are on the other end of the technology, that's what we need to be focused on. So again, that was kind of a long rant. I don't have any definite answers for you. I just want to give you my thoughts and opinion on this. I've been thinking about this a lot. I've been studying this a lot. I've been listening to people a lot. And yes, I do think this is going to have a big impact. I think it's going to de-bloat the industry that's gotten too bloated, commoditized, link sellers, content sellers, all this stuff. I think it's going to shrink the industry. And again, to me, the first step you can take is doing things like this, staying connected, talking to people, having conversations, listening to people that you trust, testing, doing your own work. And two is focusing on your customer, because at the end of the day, we're selling to people, and whatever that middle point is in terms of the mechanism of how we find people, whether that's Google, whether that's an AI, whether that's Facebook ads. And if you think about it this way too, the way where Facebook ads are right now is that cookies are gone. They're done. We can't rely on cookie data anymore. But you know what Facebook's doing? I don't have any proof of this, right? But like, I know it to be a fact because me and my wife will be sitting there talking about how we need Windex, and then she'll open up her TikTok or Instagram and she gets an ad for Windex. It's like, how the hell do you get served an ad for Windex? So the point I'm trying to make is that like our technology understands our preferences. It's listening to us in other different ways. It's bypassing. This is just an opinion, just what I see. Again, I don't want to be quoted on this directly, but like we all know that we're getting served ads based on our preference and interest, whether or not we're putting in that targeting into Facebook, right? We've run a ton of tests where we just don't put any targeting into Facebook and we're still getting agencies in our ecosystem because the technology can identify who these people are based on the millions of data points that we give our phone that we've opted into, that we just blatantly ignore in the terms of service of joining a platform like iPhone or whatever. So the point I'm trying to make is when you apply that to AI as well, right, is that we're still getting our ads served to people based on interests and preferences, even though there's no direct input for that, if that makes sense. So again, when we look at search right now, people are putting into Google exactly what they want. But if they're using an AI in the future that says, I need a New Year's outfit, right? It's going to pull based on preferences, it's going to pull based on budgets, it's going to pull based on past preferences. There's still going to be a way that we can impact that, whether that's a bidding system on the back end for ads, whether that's focusing more on organic to get people to buy and purchase our products beforehand, but there's still an avenue to get our products and stuff in front of people, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on AI. Again, that was more of a rant than anything. I don't have any direct answers for you. I encourage you to not have knee-jerk reactions. I encourage you to pay attention. I encourage you to listen. I encourage you to see what's going on. And I encourage you to start thinking for yourself, thinking critically about this, how you think it might impact you, and start planning, because this is going to have an impact, right? And the people who, I've said this before, the people who are like, nah, it's not going to impact us. Come on, man. It doesn't write content better than me. It's like, okay, but if you would have gone back a year or 2 or 3 years and seen what we were using to write then, you have to zoom out a little bit and you have to understand that this is going to get better and it's going to happen, and it's okay. And if you are forward thinking, if you're thinking about, again, your customer, your offer, and what you can do to help them make more money and not getting stuck in the fact that it might be through a different platform than Google or Facebook or whatever that is, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, we're selling to people and you got to understand people and what they want. And people are predictable. If you go all the way back to the time when humans were living in caves, right? Like we're just wired a certain type of way, and marketing is really a reflection of psychology of humans at scale. When we talk about things like clickbait, when we talk about things like copy, when we talk about things like all these different things, it's playing on human psychology, for better, for worse. Go in that commentary there, but that's essentially what we're doing. We're selling humans and we're using the technology to enable that.